Thank you very much. Absolutely delighted to be here with you this evening. Cara and myself, we are just half of at Midwives in Mind, and unfortunately Stacey Keane and Julie Roberts couldn't be with us this evening. I think we would have just done a Midwives in Mind takeover, and we are delighted to be following Jan. And very interestingly, Jan, we've been communicating over Midwives in Mind, so it's an absolute pleasure. And I feel there's a bit of symmetry, there's a lot of resonance to exactly what Jan has been saying, and is it probably the heart of how Midwives in Mind came to be in our passion. And I'm just going to share how it all came about. So yes, we come as a four is our hashtag. We come as a four. And we're very similarly minded, but we all had, and the story goes that in December 2020, 20 of midwives from across Wales, and we were four of those 20, were absolutely privileged to be part of a midwifery leadership development course, which is jointly run in partnership between the Royal College of Midwives in Wales and the Welsh Government. And the aim of that course, and it resonates with what Jan was saying, is to develop leaders and enable them to utilise new skills and knowledge to reach their full leadership potential to improve services for women and families. So normally the course is run face to face. However, it was run virtually on over 4 separate days. And we as a team, apart from Julie and I had previously met at a baby friendly initiative conference in Liverpool, but the 4 of us, and are part of our development, we've never actually been in one room at the same time. This has all occurred over the platform of using Teams, WhatsApp, and sending texts, phoning each other, FaceTime calls. But going back to the start, what happened was, as part of this midwifery leadership development group program, we've each been privileged to get a coach, and that's been a new thing. So we've had a coach, and this coach has helped us between the days 1 and 2 we had an idea. We had to have a proposal for a project, and through regular coaching conversations, we had to each develop a project. Then we had to do a Dragon's Den style pitch to the group, and so we ran it through, and our colleague Stacey Keane, her idea was chosen, and the 3 of us, I think we think similarly. I don't know, it felt like a really fantastic blind date. We've been put together, but we get on so well, and we're of a like mind. I don't know how they brought us together, but the more we've taught, the more we've developed, and this is our passion. Our passion is caring for you, caring for the carers, caring for you student midwives out there, you midwives out there, you maternity support workers out there, anyone who's listening. It's that idea of well-being. Who is caring for you? And so Stacey had this wonderful idea initially, and we all worked on it through the platform of WhatsApp, Teams. We tried it all, and we had those times when we couldn't connect, didn't we? We couldn't get through, and we kept persevering, and we're trying to get together. But we worked on different ideas. So there was Stacey's idea was thinking about staff well-being, hydration. So the importance of a hydration station, actually getting in, keeping midwives hydrated, thinking about knocking on that door. Has someone had a drink? Has someone had a cup of tea? Remembering those basics, because when you're busy caring for others, sometimes you don't care for yourself at all. Stacey had this wonderful idea as well of a walking group, and set up a walking group. Also, we developed posters, and each of us took the lead for those posters, and through a group love Canva we discovered Canva, and one of us, Cara, became the queen of Canva. Because Julia and I had used Canva, but it was just embracing the idea of using Canva.
I'd never heard of it before.
Yeah.
So, transformed me.
Transformed, and we thought about well-being. We thought about activity, sleep, the importance of sleep as a member of staff, the importance of diet, the importance of perhaps taking mindfulness. And so we developed those ideas, and initially those ideas were based in just one area. So Stacey's place of work, Cumtaf Macdonald. What happened during the course of this development, we got to grow and know one another. We became a really supportive little family. And the more we got to know one another, we also recognized that in our personal lives, there was reasons perhaps why we were drawn to caring and our passion for caring. So Stacey Keane is a band 6 acute midwife. And actually, she was feeling disenchanted, and she actually had witnessed her colleagues feeling disenchanted and struggling in practice. And this has come from the heart, and undertaking this course was a way to help her fellow colleagues with those issues. So that was her place. And for all of you out there, sometimes we put on a face, we work really hard, we're passionate about what we do, but behind that, we do have our own personal lives. And so Julie Roberts is a full-time midwifery lecturer, year 1 lead, personal tutor, link tutor, admissions lead at Bangor University. But behind the scenes, she's also a carer for her sister and her mother, providing round-the-clock personal and domestic cares. So the place I came from, Sue mentioned my PhD, which was about caring for the carers, the experiences of childbearing midwives. What came out of that research was that sometimes they felt like numbers and staffing levels. And it was this idea of caring for them, who's caring for them. And sometimes pregnant midwives are forgotten when they're the other side, because they're just left to get on with it. They get the special room, they get the private room, but they're just left to get on with the breastfeeding themselves. But they are women, they have needs in their own right. I didn't realize when I undertook this course what a profound few months I was going to have on this course, and this team have really supported me through my mother's terminal diagnosis, me caring for her, and me actually being a midwife for her death, so at her death and caring for her. And this team have been with me. So, and I'm going to pass over to my wonderful Cara now.
Okay, well, thank you, Sue, for inviting us today. I feel really honoured to be part of this evening. I'm very grateful to be here. So, like many others, COVID-19 I found very difficult to deal with. My husband was shielding following a kidney transplant, and I felt that my role as a community midwife was going to cause him harm when I was coming home from work. So I found the stress made me very unwell last year, and I took a period off work to sort of help myself. So while I was at home keeping Ben safe, I felt that I was letting my team down, which I found very difficult to deal with that. So when we began the leadership course, I felt really lucky to be put in a group where well-being was the focus, and it was a time when I was trying to rebuild my well-being. So as Tina said earlier, due to COVID, the leadership course was done virtually. So in the past, the delegates have had a day where they present the posters to the other delegates and the steer group as well. And however, because it was virtually, we weren't able to do that this year. We did it online, but it wasn't the same as normal. So I felt it was a shame to not get the opportunity to share our posters And I suggested to the group, and it took me about 5 days to pluck up the courage to do that, because I thought, are they going to think it's a silly idea? But I just put it to them asking, should we just set up a group where we can present our posters on an Instagram page? But luckily for me, they were very keen on the idea, and we started to develop that. So we developed the program, and we started off as employee wellbeing, but we then came, after the brainstorming session, we became Midwives in Mind. So as we had such a positive response on Instagram, Tina developed a Twitter account, which is Midwives in Mind, and later on we created a Facebook group. So social media has been a huge platform for us to reach out to maternity staff, and we've had messages off the general public as well, who have just feel that our posts are really positive. So I feel it has brought the community together, and the midwifery community, at a time where it is a very difficult period for all of us. So the aim of our programme, Midwives in Mind, is to focus on self-care and show others the way in which you look after yourself and looking after others too. So we create daily posters. As Tina said earlier, I use Canva a lot, so I make daily posters. So my inspiration just comes at various points in the day. I'm often just writing quotes down. It may be my first thought in the morning or how I'm feeling in the evening. And a lot of my posts are a result of kind of interacting with others and how I kind of respond to that situation. So a lot of the posts that I've made have come from a conversation with somebody, even that they may not realize that they've inspired that post. So we also share ideas of making time for yourself and how to focus on positivity and setting goals, and sort of setting small goals to make progress in your life. And most importantly, it is okay to open up if you are struggling, and opening up to someone you feel safe with, and that's okay. And we can help with that. So our idea came about at an ideal time where it's becoming increasingly recognised that midwives are suffering from burnout. We're working under pressure, we face an increase in demand, so there are staff shortages, and working long hours without appropriate breaks. And this is the point where I feel the self-care is often forgotten about, and that can have a detrimental effect upon ourselves, our colleagues, and then, as you said earlier, Sue, it can have that detrimental effect on the families that we care for.
And so, yeah, and back to me, of a philosophy, it's something that you had mentioned, Sue. There's a nursing theorist called Gwen Sherwood who states, we will not have nurturing and caring at the bedside if we fail to nurture and care for ourselves. And so often it's perhaps seen as a badge of honour, not who's working the longest. There's so much selflessness in midwifery care. You work over, you come in early, you're going home late. We love what we do, and as Jan said, we're empaths. I mean, how many, you feel, how many of you who are listening today feel what you feel, the joy, you feel the sadness. My husband used to say to me, why are you still worrying? Why are you ringing up at 3 o'clock in the morning to find out what's going on? It's because we care and we want to know. And I don't think we talk about caritas or love, but maybe at the heart of us, we love what we do. We are midwife, and we are like that stick of rock. It is through the core. I love this is my midwife room. I love who I am, and it's part of our identity. But in that identity, perhaps we take on a lot and we feel a lot, and we don't perhaps look after ourselves, or perhaps some people think taking that time for self-care is sometimes not seen as a good thing. And that's the darker side of midwifery practice, that actually if you say no, I mean, it's really hard to say no. And part of our leadership course, where we all got given this fantastic key ring, by the way, we learned about parents, is sometimes, to say no. There's nothing wrong with saying no. How many of you out there are yes people? Because that's what we do. We say yes, we work over, we don't mind, we love what we do. So it's that idea of balancing. And and the Twitter, it was just a source of joy. And it was a source of joy in a period of a challenging period, and the bouncing off one another. And actually we get a lot out of it, running the Midwives in Mind. And I hope it's showing to people out there that actually, even though we work full time, we do things in our spare time that we love. I mean, this was a lot. We enjoy what we do, and we work as a team. We, as I said, we come as a four. So for the Twitter account, I wanted whoever's on the Twitter account, I do try and interact with people. I want to show, but we didn't have our identities on there to begin because we are as a four, but we try and send little messages of appreciation to know that you are cared for, that you can come to us, you can feel welcome, you can have that psychological safety to say what you need to say. But how many of you sometimes, who says thank you to you? That's what I want to say. Who's saying thank you for all you're doing? And it's those times, we have been very privileged to get some direct messages, that the reach of this social media platform. I mean, engaging, we're getting midwives from Australia engaging with us, for example. It's become much bigger than what we originally started, which was one project. But what we recognized is that we felt that there was a need. Why just leave it in one place? Why not reach out? We've got the passion. We want it to, in the posts, we hope it comes across that we're caring, that we're interested. There's some really nice conversations that come and threads. Cara's Canva and loves a Canva. I sometimes get inspiration from flowers or pictures or animals, and I try and it's a really nice outlet to be creative as well, to have that creativity if we think about the art and science of midwifery in those posts. But hopefully we're demonstrating who we are, and there's nothing wrong with being caring and showing caring and having that compassionate leadership. I hope that we are trying to lead by example, and hopefully for the would-be future midwives and maternity support workers, and midwives out there, that they can see that we actually practice what we preach, even though sometimes we practice what we preach because about exercise and decide to do kayaking and don't do so well. But I've been inspired by the things that we're posting, and I hope that whoever's listening is too.
Thanks for watching this video from the Maternity and Midwifery Forum. For more expert opinion and analysis, hit the button below to subscribe.